Jaume Ferrer. Jaume Ferrer was an explorer and sailor from Mallorca, also thought to have been called Giacomino Ferreira de Casa Maria, according to recent research. Not much is known about his life, but the reason he decided to explore the ocean was to find the Rio de Oro, or the River of Gold. Rumours had spread from country to country that somewhere on the western coast of Africa was a river that flowed with gold at the bottom. Today, some historians think the rumours started from the Portuguese discovering a branch of the sea which confused them into thinking it was a river. They were held captives to ransom for gold. Although the rumours were sketchy, they fueled the imagination of Ferrer, who decided to set sail in 1364 to discover its riches and hopefully find a trade route with the Mali Empire. He was faced with a serious lack of navigation due to crude charts and nautical instruments, and he disappeared somewhere along the coast. Some theorise he may have made it to Cape Bojador, but his fate after that remains a mystery. Ludwig Leichhardt. Ludwig Leichhardt was a very well-trained natural scientist who was competent in 6 languages and had a vast realm of knowledge about a multitude of subjects, which he meticulously described in a detailed notebook. He was born in Prussia, which is now mostly Germany, studied in a handful of European countries, and later travelled to Australia in hopes of getting a government appointment to explore inland. When he missed out on a government-sponsored exploration, he funded his own private excursion and left southern Queensland with a small crew. When he returned, he decided to go on another excursion that crossed the entire continent from east to west. In 1848, he and his small crew departed from Kugun Station and were never heard from again. Many researchers and historians are still puzzled by how such a vigilant and keen individual could have disappeared without a trace. They've theorised that the party died from drowning, from an attack by a native tribe, or even from an assassination by the British government. Abu Bakr II was the 9th king, or Mansa, of the Male Empire in the 14th century, who supposedly sailed to the Americas. Virtually nothing is known about Abu Bakr II, but an Arab historian, Shihab al-Umari, was the only person to document his journey. Shihab al-Umari recorded a conversation between the 10th king of the Mali Empire, Massa I, and the Egyptian Empire in Cairo. Massa stated that his predecessor was obsessed about reaching the limits of the Atlantic Ocean, so he sent out 200 ships to sail to the edge of the sea. When the voyage failed, Abu Bakr II took matters into his own hands and renounced his right to the throne in order to lead a second voyage. He took 2,000 ships with him, along with water and provisions, and told Musa to deputize in his place while he went sailing. The last time anyone ever saw him was when he embarked across the Atlantic Ocean. Today, historians think that he may have been the first Muslim to land in the Americas. However, it is possible that his ships may not have made it, and he and his crew perished. Another theory is that it's likely that this story is false, and Musa actually threw a coup d'etat and covered it up by saying his predecessor sailed away. Percy Fawcett. Percy Fawcett was a British soldier, anthropologist and explorer born in the late 1800s, who was famous for his expedition to find the lost city of Zed. In his early life, he trained with the Royal Geographical Society to become an explorer, and they sent him on many map-making excursions to South America to mark geographical territories and get to know native tribes in the area. It was during these excursions that Fawcett began to hear native tribes talk about rumours of a lost civilization. This piqued his interest, so he looked through historical documents and read about travellers' accounts of seeing mysterious ruins. As the rumours began to seem increasingly likely, Fawcett feared that a rival explorer would beat him to the lost civilization, which he called Zed. Eventually, his fear and curiosity prompted him to go on an expedition to the Mato Grosso region of Brazil, which was where he believed Zed to be located, accompanied by his 21-year-old son and his son's friend. In 1925, the three of them went to Brazil and began exploring the dense jungle, sending letters back home to state their current location from time to time, until their communication suddenly went dark and they were never heard from again. It's speculated that the trio was murdered by native tribes, or that they had died from natural causes. However, it's unlikely that we will ever know whether they survived their trip in the jungle, or found the lost city of Zed and decided to stay there. Fawcett's plight inspired the 2006 film starring Robert Pattinson called The Lost City of Zed. The Corte-Real brothers. Gaspar, Miguel, and Vasco Anz Corte-Real were the three sons of the successful Portuguese explorer João Vaz Corte-Real, who was granted land by the king after discovering the land of Cod, speculated to be Canada. He would take his two youngest sons, Gaspar and Miguel, on expeditions with him until his death. When the brothers saw how much glory and wealth they could obtain by finding new lands, they followed in their father's footsteps and became explorers. In 1500, King Manuel of Portugal sent Gaspar on a mission to find a northwest passage to Asia. So Gaspar set sail with 3 ships across the Atlantic in the same direction his father went. Icebergs blocked their route, so they went back to Portugal and sailed again, this time with Miguel. They came to the shores of eastern Newfoundland and split up to explore before agreeing on a rendezvous back to Portugal. However, Gaspar never returned. A year later, Miguel set sail to find out what happened to his youngest brother, but his ship disappeared along the west coast of Newfoundland. A year later, the last remaining brother wanted to find both his missing brothers, but the king refused to let him sail, sensing the ominous pattern. To this very day, the fate of the 2 brothers remains unknown.